psychiatric nurse for many, many years. And nursing was kind of natural for me. I was one of those kids who was really sensitive. So I couldn't even watch movies like Old Yeller or Lassie or anything like that without completely breaking down and bawling my eyes out. So I had to do those things on my own, watch these movies, just about any movie. And so naturally I became a nurse. I was always so sensitive to pain and suffering. I could feel it in my physical body. It was palpable. So I wanted to do something in the world that could help people, even in just a little way, to minimize their pain and suffering. So I went into psychiatric nursing, and after a while I was given the opportunity to go into hospice nursing. And hospice is care for people who are in the last stages of a terminal illness, up until their last breath. And the beautiful thing about hospice is it allows people to actually go through the process of dying in their own home, surrounded by their family, surrounded by the environment that they have been in all their lives. So they're not stuck in a hospital bed, hooked up to machines. So there's a whole team of people that come together to provide care for people in hospice. And nurses are part of that team. And so as a hospice nurse, I had the opportunity to go to many homes of different people. And it really felt like I was becoming part of their family because I was getting to know them. I was getting to know their family. And they were sharing things with me at the most vulnerable period of their life. And I got to be a part of that. Some of the things that I most appreciated about hospice were not necessarily always the medical procedures. That's not why I went into nursing to begin with. It was this human interaction that I had with people. I would just sit there and rub their feet, hold hands, and listen. Just listen. That one thing would change the world if we all were able to just listen. Because what happened when I just listened to people is they completely opened up. Their hearts opened, and they shared with me the stories of their life that they had never shared before. They shared their fears and their regrets. They shared love. They allowed me into their hearts, and I allowed them into mine. And it was such a gift. It was such a gift. I want to tell you a story about John and Carrie. John was in his 50s, and he and Carrie were recently married when John was diagnosed with cancer. And by the time they found out about the cancer, it was already at the very, very late stages. So he wasn't even given 6 months to live like most hospice patients may. He was only given less than a month. So when I went in to first see John and Carrie, I was met with a shamanic healer, met by him at the door. And he showed me the procedure he was doing about trying to take the cancer and suck it into an egg yolk. And at the time, I had only known Western medicine. I hadn't studied anything yet in, alternative healing and the things that I do now. So I had no idea what was going on here, but I could feel this desperation, this, okay, we have to find something. We have to find something. And they tried every single method that they could to just get rid of the cancer, fight it, battle it, just get it out of there. We have a life to live. We have dreams to live. You could feel the energy. Until one day, I went over there, and everything was different. There was this peace just permeating the air. And I went over and I asked them what was going on, and they said, we decided to let go. We decided to surrender. Now, I want to make a clarification. Letting go and surrender does not mean giving up. It does not mean losing hope. It does not mean giving away faith. And it is in no way a weakness. But they let go. And what happened when they let go and surrendered was they started to open up to life. real, true, authentic living. And they were able to express with one another these emotions and these things that had been buried deep inside for years. And John would go into these very, very deep, introspective places where he would just get to know who he really was. And they shared this bond together and invited all the family in to share this with them and their friends. It was just a beautiful, beautiful experience. And when we knew that John was getting to the end of his life, we knew that things were probably just a couple of days before he took his last breath. Carrie created a sanctuary for him. And she lit the most beautiful candles, and music was playing all the time. People would come in, family and friends, and they were having a living memorial service, something that I think that we should do in the world so much more. Living memorial service where they came in and they celebrated John's life with John there so that he could hear everything that they said about him, all these beautiful things, and he was able to share with all of them what means the most to him in their relationship. And after that experience, John was lying in bed, and we sensed that it was down to the minutes. And Carrie went over to his bed, and she climbed into bed with him, and she took his last breath with him. They breathed in, and there was peace. There was so much peace. And that room was filled with love. Only love. It was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. They taught me so much about the celebration of life. It was nothing about death. It was life. True, authentic, beautiful living. Wholehearted living. Not long after that, I met Henry. Henry's great. He was in his 80s, and he was also diagnosed with cancer. And I was going there every week for several months. He was just hanging on and hanging on. He had quite an amazing spirit. And I got to know his family really well, too. We would play cards together, and they would invite me for lunch. And I'll never forget the day that I went in there, and there was a little bit of a conflict going on with him and his daughter. And so I said, "What's going on?" And Henry said, "You know what? I only have a short amount of time to live. I am sick and tired of sitting in this chair, wasting away. I am going to live my life." And his daughter looks at him and she says, "Dad, you're sick." And he looks over at her and he says, "Exactly. I'm living my life. I'm out of here." So he was. We discharged him from hospice. He got in his Cadillac and he drove by himself all the way up the California coast to his favorite spot in Oregon and lived a beautiful life for several more years. Now that is the spirit of life. He wasn't finished yet. I think the most important thing that they taught me was that it's not really about how much time we have. It's how we live these moments that we have that matter. Letting go of all of that shell around us. Letting go of all that stuff, because you know what? It doesn't matter. It's not important. Allowing our heart to come out and shine into this world in the way that we feel comfortable doing that. Because every single person in this world is going to do that differently. And every single person has their own unique gifts to give the world. And they taught me that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to take risks. Basically, It's okay to live. And that's something that I think so many of us are afraid of, to really fully live. But take it from somebody who knows their last breath is almost near. They know what matters. They really do. And I am so blessed to have had that experience with so many amazing people. And I honor every single one of them as my divine teachers, my teachers of life. Oprah Winfrey said, breathe, let go, and remind yourself that this very moment is the only one you know you have for sure. Let's honor that. Honor one another and honor ourselves. And most of all, let's go out there and celebrate life.